I let my Instagram followers blindly choose the books I'll be reading in the month of December. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have so many books on my TBR. Too many that I honestly can't decide what I wanted to read next, so I thought it would be a fun idea to let my Instagram followers blindly choose the books that I am going to read in the month of December. Before we hop into the video, I do just want to say this idea is not my own. I actually got the idea from Sarah Caroli, who is a fellow booktuber, and I will link her channel down below if you want to check out her video. I chose 8 books off of my TBR for my followers to choose between, except all of the books were blurred out, and the only hint as to what the book was through emojis. Based off the emojis covering the book, you could either pick the book on the left or the book on the right, and whichever book had the highest percent of votes is the book I'm going to read in the month of December. So starting off strong, I put a poll for these 2 books right here. The book on the left, I put the number 7 emoji and a husband, which I feel was fairly obvious, and I'm sure you could gather was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book has been on my TBR for well over a year now. There was a lot of hype around this book on TikTok especially, so I added it to my TBR and I just never read it, but I am excited to see if it will win. Okay, and jumping over to the book on the right, again, I put the number 7 emoji and then I put a slipper. I feel like this one was less obvious, but the book is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I don't have the physical copy of this book. I believe is contemporary romance with elements of magical realism. Again, another book that's been super hyped up, and I'm very excited to read if it wins. Okay, so the book on the left got 64% and the book on the right got 36%. That makes The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo our winner. I actually am really excited to read this book. Like I said, it's been on my TBR for so long and I don't know why. Even though there's so much hype around it, I just haven't had the motivation to read it. So hopefully I can dive into it and enjoy it just as much as everyone else. These next 2 books I'm most excited for. I added them to my TBR after I recently discovered that I love fantasy. So I have 2 fantasy books up. The first one, I put a sword and the fire emoji, which I feel is, again, fairly obvious which book that is, and that is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I don't have the physical copy to this book. It sold out. I ordered it, it's in the mail, hopefully it comes, and this is the book that I'm secretly hoping wins because I just finished Fourth Wing, so it's fresh in my head and I really want to know what happens next. Jumping over to the book on the right, I put up the castle emoji and the rose or dead rose emoji. I hope this one was obvious. I didn't really know what other emojis to put, but this is A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and that is the first book in the ACOTAR series. Again, I really want to get into fantasy, so reading this book is going to be a gateway for me. I already know it. A gateway into the entire ACOTAR series, Crescent City, and Throne of Glass. I'm well aware and I'm very prepared. Let's see what wins. The results for this poll got 44% on the left-hand side and 56% on the right-hand side. That makes A Court of Thorn and Roses our winner for this month. I am a little bit disappointed because I really wanted to read Iron Flame. But like I said, I'm fully prepared to start the ACOTAR series. I have A Court of Thorn and Roses on my Kindle, so I will be reading it there. And hopefully, if I love it, I will buy the entire series in paperback because I would love to have them on my shelf. Jumping into our third poll, the book on the left, I put a hockey stick emoji and a skate, which again, fairly obvious what this book might be, but that is none other than Icebreaker. I have no idea what it's about other than I know there's hella spice in here, which I am always here for a spicy book, but I believe it is contemporary romance and sports fiction. As for the book on the right, this one is really hard for me to come up with emojis, so I actually have no idea if anyone knows what this book stands for, but I did the little like shh, whispering quiet emoji and a heart, and that book is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. Again, I heard that there's some spice in this, but there's always spice in Tessa Bailey books. This one was fairly close, and I was watching the polls as people were voting, and at one point for a few hours it was like 50-50, but the left got 45% and the right got 55%, which means we will be reading Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I have no objection to reading this book. I love a good contemporary romance, and I certainly love a book that has spice. Last but not least, I put up these two books. The book on the left, I use the filming camera and the popcorn emoji, and that is none other than Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I really, really want to read this book. It has been at the top of my TBR for a while, and I recently picked it up in store, but I'm excited to see if this one will win. I've said before, I don't really read book descriptions before going into it, so I actually have no idea what it's about other than everyone loves it. The book on the right, I put the skull emoji and I put a heart, and that is for The Dead Romantics, another book by Ashley Poston. Another book, it's been on my TBR for a while. I've heard a lot of great things. Every time I hear someone talk about the 7-Year Slip, they always talk about The Dead Romantics. So maybe I'll get to read both or one or the other. I felt like the emojis for this one, I couldn't tell if people would be able to know what the books were or weren't, but overall left got 53% and right got 47%. So that means I will be reading Better Than the Movies, which I am very, very excited about. Just to wrap up, out of the 8 books that I picked off of my TBR, my Instagram followers picked The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, A Court of Thorn and Roses, which again is on my Kindle, Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey, and Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I am excited to read all of these. Most of them have been sitting on my TBR for quite a long time, and I just never picked them up. I'm hoping to get through all of them in December. I don't know. December is going to be a very busy month for me, but we will find out in my December reading wrap up. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you would have voted for the book that won. But thank you for watching. Bye.